got it. Okay, so I have an ad in the paper real quick, and like, there are people that just like blow by you saying, no, you have to come in for an interview. We're not going to talk about it on the phone. No, no, no. And actually, because I want people that don't hear no, those are the ones I'd hire, but I can't tell them that. Anyway, okay, so when I quit smoking, this is how I quit. So the first thing I did was I started using a vape, but I was still smoking too. And I was like making the decision at that point to end the smoking because I really didn't want to smoke anymore for a very long time. So then one day I took my cigarettes. I had like 4 cigarettes left in a pack. And I threw them in the trunk of my car. So I had to like do something to get them. And I didn't have the vape then. I didn't have one that day. And I came home from work on a Thursday, and I got one of these wife beaters on, and I got a pair of boy shorts on, and I wrapped my hair up in a messy bun, and I told myself, I am too sick to leave my house. This is what I did. I lied to myself. I said, you're too sick, PJ. You cannot leave the house today. You need to stay under your blankets. You're so sick. And I took my phone and my charger and a bottle of water, and I laid in bed until Monday. The only time I got out was my one son, my middle son, had come over, Coleman, and he was in the backyard doing something. And I asked him for a cigarette because I knew if I got up out of my bed and went outside to do anything, go to the store, anything, I was going to go in the trunk and get my pack of cigarettes. I knew that. Like, I knew I would do that. So I couldn't go near my car. It was like a thing I put in my head. So then when Coleman came over, I was like, oh, man. Well, I said, can I have a cigarette? Because he smokes Marlboro Lights. And he was like, no, he knew what I was doing. He was like, you're trying to quit. No. So I was like, okay, you're right. But then he went out back to take a phone call, and I stole one. And I put it on the top of the refrigerator. Later on that day, Tim called me, and Coleman left. Tim called me, and he's like yelling at me. And I'm like, him and I are like battling. I can't even remember what. And so I was so upset and like this. And it's now been like 2 days since I smoked a cigarette. So I went up on top of my refrigerator, and I pulled down the one little Marlboro light I had. And I took it in the backyard because I didn't want it to be in my house. And I thought, well, this will be my last cigarette. And, you could just lie to yourself all the time. So I lit the damn thing, but I didn't recognize that I had gone down to Carlton's, which are like nothing, they're air, and B, I hadn't had a cigarette in 2.5 days. So, and every time I thought I want a cigarette, I would take a swig of water and say, oh, you're too sick, just lie down. I just convinced myself I was sick. I wasn't, I was fine, but that's what I did. So I wouldn't go out to the car, wouldn't go out to the store, wouldn't go get the cigarettes in the back. So then I'm standing in the backyard, and I'm yelling at Tim. And as I'm lighting this cigarette, I'm like, this is Tim's fault in my mind. It's not my fault I'm smoking. Tim's making me so upset, and that's why I'm smoking. He doesn't even care. Like, he's such a bad person to make me smoke. What? Such a bunch of shit you tell yourself. So then I just, as I'm yelling, I went, and you know what? And that shit hit the back of my throat. And I was not prepared for it. I started choking. I just went like, I ended up throwing up water all over my backyard. It was awful. I was like, oh my God, like, what did I do? So I threw the cigarette away. I couldn't take another drag if I wanted to. It would have it was like somebody punched me in the throat. I couldn't even fucking yell at Tim anymore. I was just like so frustrated. I just hung up on him. I stormed in my house. I'm like, fucking Tim almost made me ruin this. No, I did that. But that's how you do mental. So I went back to bed. I'm so sick. I'm so sick. I went back to bed. Did not get out of bed till Monday morning. At that point, I said, well, you're done smoking. And I was cigarette free from that day on. I haven't touched one. Now, I did vape, I can't remember what they were called. I think they were called Views or something, but was that what they were called? I don't remember. But I did the vapey thing where you just buy the little thing in the cartridge, you know, and it's like you buy the filter or whatever. But I did that for maybe till I think it was till, no, I don't remember now. Honestly, I don't remember. But I did it for a while where I would vape off and on. And believe me, vaping is better than smoking because the minute you start vaping, you're going to be amazed that you can breathe. That was what amazed me. I woke up like, when you first quit smoking, you get very full of congestion. It's almost like everything that wants to come up is coming up. And then, like, after that weekend, I started, like, walking around. Remember, I made myself bedridden. So I started walking around that next week, and I was like, everything came up. I kept coughing up, like, all this skunk. But then, like, 2 days after that, I was, like, done. And then I kept telling myself, like, whenever I'd want a cigarette, and to this day, there are moments that I want a cigarette. I will never put a cigarette to my lips again. But there are, because I know I'd go right back. But there are days where I want one. And whenever I want one, I just because of what happened in the backyard, I'm like, oh, you can't smoke because it'll make you throw up. And nothing I hate worse in life than throwing up. Okay. So I'm just like, yeah, I don't want to make myself throw up. It's a lie, but it's a lie I've convinced myself of. And so once that, like, and yes, there are moments, but I decided that day, I'm never going to smoke again. I'm just never going to smoke again. It doesn't matter, whatever happens in my life, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that I never smoke again. So I'm no longer a smoker. I don't vape. I don't do anything. And that's how I want to keep it. I don't struggle with it, but once in a blue moon, especially like if it's after dinner or like a meal and a bunch of my friends go out to smoke and I smell it, then I'm like, oh, that would taste so good right now. But actually it doesn't, because I've smelled jackets and coats that I almost want to get rid of because it feels like I can't get the smoke out of some of them. There's a room in my house that completely smells like cigarettes, and it's been years and years and years and years since anybody who smoked lived in that room. But because the carpets are the same, I still smell smoke. It's awful. And you don't realize how much you stink. I didn't for years. I thought I smelled really good. And you know what? No perfume covers that up. Because I've hugged people that are smokers now, and I'm like, oh shit, that's awful. So anyway, if you want to quit smoking, just tell yourself you're sick. Make the decision. That's all it really takes. The doing was effortless. And the fear that I was going to be so miserable. That's what stopped me for years. This crazy fear that I wasn't going to be able to do it because of how miserable I was going to feel. And who wants to feel like that? I have to work. I have to deal with kids. Years of you telling yourself these lies. So start telling yourself now. Get ready to quit. Start telling yourself now, I can't smoke. Like, it's going to make me sick if I keep this up, and I can't breathe. Oh my God, the difference in my breathing is like night and day. Oh my God. I don't even cough anymore. I used to cough all the time. Now I have allergies, which you've all witnessed. But yeah, like, it's not my lungs. The allergies more like right in here and from throat up. But oh my God, like so much better. Sleeping, no problem. Like, just what a difference it really made. And it's the one thing I regret most in my life is smoking. But anyway, I gotta go. I love you guys. Bye. Good luck. Go quit.